I am in my car again. I find it easier to make videos here because I don't have an actual studio. You're going to want to listen to this because I find it very fascinating. I find people ask questions in isolation. So this is actually the pure form solution to a few of the questions that people have been hammering home for years and just really never got an answer to. Are you ready for it? Okay. So when people say, rich people aren't happy. Okay, well, that's a question. That's a statement in isolation. So it's basically saying, if you have money, are you happier? And it's like, I guess if everything else being equal, maybe, but it could actually make you more depressed, right? Like if you have again, that question is in isolation. It depends. So for example, if you're on a desert island and you have more money, does it change anything? Well, now you just have more firewood. So like a little bit, I guess. It's like, oh great, is it dry? Because you can't buy anything. So that question in isolation isn't worth it. You have to understand the entire scenario. And even when, bad things happen to me, I guess looking at it in isolation, it's bad, obviously. It's like, so it's the idea is that, for example, I don't even know. It's like, if you're homeless, is it bad? Well, it's like, there could be a person who has zero friends, for example, and a terrible health condition, and then they're homeless, but now they're super healthy and they have a ton of people around. And it's like, is he happier? Yeah, he's definitely happier. And it's like, is this person depressed? Well, I mean, I don't know. Is it a depressing thing? It depends what the situation is, right? It's the same thing. It's like, for example, if you're homeless because you cannot get a job and shit is really bad and it's only getting worse, yeah, I could imagine it's a very tough situation. However, if you are homeless and you're leaving a job that you were enslaved in, no literal enslavement, and you were getting, for example, like abused, is it good or bad? Well, you're like, sick, this is awesome. I get to wake up and I don't get electrocuted like in my feet. Like, I know these are extreme examples, but you kind of have to understand that, like, it totally depends on the situation. Like with the money example, I find it really funny where it's like, yeah, like on the island, you can't spend it. Are you happier? No, because you can't spend it. Or if it's during COVID and you can't travel and all you want to do is travel, and all of a sudden now somebody gives you all this money and it's like, well, I don't really care. Like, what, am I going to eat more food? I already have all the food I need. Can I buy a new house? Well, I'm stuck at home. I can't even do anything. So it doesn't really matter at that point, right? So you can't look at things in isolation. People do mean in generalities in a way. It's like, in general, are you going to be happier? And it's like, yeah, well, obviously, but it totally does depend in a lot of ways. So you can't really ask questions in isolation. And I think that's one of the issues too, when people look at other people's lives and it's like, oh man, that guy is like the hottest girlfriend. Or like, oh, that guy drives a Porsche. Oh, I bet he's happy. And it's like, again, you're looking at it from the lens of, if I had that car, I'd be happy. And it's like, well, are you already miserable? Like, there's so many other aspects, right? So I don't know, like the best example is if you're not even able to drive it, for example, like say you have some weird condition. And I know I'm using a lot of the same examples here, but you kind of have to be able to drive it to be happy, or who knows, like the example of the Audi, where the guy buys an Audi after all these years of saving for, and then he gets in a car crash. And that's really sad. But I mean, again, the Audi in isolation is easy. It's like, well, an Audi is sick. Yeah. But maybe not for you. Right? It just, there's so many scenarios. So it could be like I don't know if you've ever heard the parable of Tehran, where there's essentially like a Persian king or Iranian king, and he's walking and his slave comes to him and he says, master, like, I need help. And he's like, what's wrong? Like, obviously, like he's a good master. So he says, like, what do you need? And he says, I need your fastest horse. I need to get away to Tehran. He says, why? He says, I just saw death and he's out to kill me. Of course, he gives him the horse. So the slave goes away and he heads to Tehran to get away from death. And then the king keeps walking and he sees death himself. And he says, what have you done to my slave? He's terrified. and death says, he's terrified. I'm terrified. I was about to head to Tehran to kill him. What's he doing here? So I guess in isolation to the slave, it's, I'm going to get away to Tehran. It's going to save me. And you don't know the entire situation. It's better to be open-minded. It's better to take things as they come. The best thing that I've actually heard is it's not the thing itself. It's what you do with the thing. Like it isn't like one of my spiritual teachers told me this. It isn't what it is. People say it is what it is. No, it isn't. It is what you make of it. And really taken into even a larger scope, it isn't even what it is. It isn't even what you make of it. It's because like sometimes you might not be able to do much with it, right? And that's not, there's constraints in reality, right? But like obviously you can do a lot with things. I think there's also the things that are outside of your control that are related to the thing itself that you don't know, right? So there's so many things. It might be like, oh my God, getting a new house must be great. It's like, well, it's filled with crocodiles. So it's like, well, that's obviously not what I meant. But it's like, what did you mean? Like, is there a cookie cutter house version out there that you can copy and paste? No, each house is different. This is reality, It's like, oh, if only I had a super, I don't know, nice car. Where it's like, well, which car? Which version? Which exact make? They're not actually all the same. You can't actually stamp. This isn't a form like the world of forms. This is like a pure material world. Each car made is actually different. It might be by millimeters, by milliseconds, by, I don't know, like tenths of percentages, but they are all different. It depends. You're different. It depends on the day that you receive it. It depends on your family situation. There's so many things going on. But people like to look at things in isolation. So they say the car, the money, the girl, the guy, whatever it is, right? And it's that perfect copy in their mind, the form in their mind in isolation. But things don't come in isolation. Things aren't perfect. They're not in mathematical forms. They're in the material world when they come to you, right? So, and you probably wouldn't even know what to do with it, honestly. Like a lot of times, right? Like the craziest thing is a lot of those things that we want, they are actually right in front of us. They're there. Another really good thing that my spiritual teacher once said is these followers of this guru, whatever you want to call it, doesn't really matter. The point is that they're on this acreage or this farmland, and the guru is like, well, we're gonna build a house. Like, we need to build a giant house to house everybody. And they're like, with what money? Like, how are we gonna do this? And he says, like, how are we gonna get the money here? They were like, where's the money? Where's the money? How do we get the money here? Like, where is it? Like, and he says, like, where is the money? Like, how do we get it here? And he says, where it is now. We just have to move it here. It's already there. We just have to convince it to come here. Which is such a beautiful, beautiful saying. But the idea is, I think a lot of these things that we even hold dear in our minds, they might actually not be in our minds. They might not be in a hypothetical world, in a hypothetical universe. It's already there. We just have to bring it here from where it already is. So where's the money? Where it already is. Which is really funny. I find it funny. And it actually is true, like even finding wealth, making wealth in this world. I hate to say it, but Andrew Tate actually said this. And he said, you're not capable of making money. You aren't printing money. You're not a government. So really, from the spiritual sense, that like that guru, it's not spiritual, it's material. The money that you want is already out there. Literally, it's in someone's pocket. So if you're for example, if you have a coffee shop and you want to make more sales, you're not going to create more money. You need to convince more people to give you more money. Either more people give you the same amount of money, or the same people give you more money for different services, or you up your prices. There's a literal thing going on that's going to put money in your pocket. People want to stay in their own head and get all metaphysical about it and stuff like that. But I mean, we are living in a material world, and these things actually do happen, and you have to be very careful. how you receive them, right? And a lot of people harp on the ego or the identity. They want to do things different. They want to be different. You have to be careful, man, because that different life, you might not know how to handle it. And literally, it might cause you injury and harm. Like, your body is already tuned for everything, for the food that it's eating, everything that you're doing, right? It's all the enzymes. Like, if I was to eat the exact same foods that a white girl eats in Kitsilano, like gluten-free, all this stuff, I probably would get very sick. We can test it. Like, it's kind of disgusting to say, but I have a very healthy excretory system. I've always had that, but I pretty much just stick to the foods that I like eating, and I eat those things, and it's healthy because my body knows how to handle it, like how to process it, right? Putting yourself into a situation that's completely foreign, for example, like getting something that you really don't deserve or that you just aren't even used to, and just completely radically changing your life on a whim, could be disastrous. When you're young, I feel like it can be done, but as you get older, I think it's very hard. It actually might be dangerous. It might be the opposite. So I think that's kind of what people say when they say, be careful what you ask for. But yeah, I think things taken in isolation, wrapping it around again, is the problem, right? It doesn't really answer the question. I don't know. This is horrible, right? There's a lot of sad things that happen, right? So you might say, like, what's it like to go through a fire in a forest? It must be horrible. And it's like, I don't know, maybe that fire produced something great. Like, what's it like to be living on your brother's couch for 6 months? Like, I'm pretty sure I've done that. And it's like, well, I mean, maybe it gives you an opportunity to connect with them better. Like, taken in isolation, it's like, well, that's obviously a bad thing. But in general, it depends on the situation you're in and what you're going through, right? So for me, when bad things happen, I get excited. I'm like, unless they're irreversibly horrible, obviously, then it's like, shit, now I have to live with this forever, which has happened to me many times. But yeah, I find it really funny. Like, I've been fired from jobs, and I've just been like, wee-hoo, like, this is sick. I've lost all my money, and I've been like, damn, okay, we'll see what happens here. Like, all right, well, I don't know what's gonna happen. And you might end up with more. And the other thing is, you don't even know what you don't know. Like, you don't know what would have happened in that timeline. That's what's really crazy, is that was a timeline. Other things would have happened after that. The opposite. You're living in this timeline. Ultimately, the ultimate marker of a success is you are alive today. So that timeline of that bad thing happening right now, well, are you alive in this moment? Okay, well, in a way, it's good. It's like, well, you're alive. You don't even have to learn anything from it. It's just like, in this moment, you are alive. You just got fired. 3 seconds later, are you breathing? Yeah, okay, good. Like, it's not, yeah, like, life might have been better, but life could have also been worse. So you don't know, right? There's no way to know. So I think that's the idea, that you never take things in isolation, right? And I think those Zen masters do become, they don't get too excited by something, and they don't get too depressed by something. Like, money comes in, they don't really know if it's good or bad. They're just like, okay, this is what it is, and and I think that's kind of the case, right? Where it's taken on its own, you don't fully know. So you take responsibility for that thing, and you say, I'm going to make it great. You do kind of have to do something. You can't just devolve into depression. So, like, if you get fired from your job, yeah, it actually could end up being bad if you take that and you just ruminate, you make it all depressing and stuff. But you could take that and say, okay, I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to make my life incredible. Or, oh, now I have to learn how to make money on my own. So, like, you have to make something of that situation too. Like, you are also involved in the grand scheme of things. Like, again, it's not in isolation. So the Porsche being given to you in isolation, the Porsche is obviously sick. Everybody knows the Porsche is sick, better than other cars. But if you take it and you don't respect it, and you don't respect that this car is different and you drive it just like you would drive your Honda, and bad things happen, then that's on you. You have to take it, and then you have to play your part. So it's this weird dichotomy. It's this interconnectedness between you and the event, right? That produces the next event, because you're also in it. You're probably the biggest piece of all of this. So getting fired from the job in isolation is a bad thing. Yeah, obviously. But you play the part. Now you're like, okay, well, I'm fired, but now I'm gonna change, and I'm gonna do something with this. I'm gonna make this even better than before. So you are a piece of that giant puzzle, right? And you're actually a giant piece of it because it's your life. It's the puzzle. The focal point is your life. Anyways, that was a lot to discuss. We learned a lot. Learned a lot in these car talks. I'm going to keep listening to Dan Bilzerian's audiobook, This Setup. It is actually insane what the human mind is capable of producing when you set your mind to it. Beyond, a lot of my friends now that we're getting older, they just set really small goals. Like, I love these guys. I really do. Like, my friend, I called him yesterday, 2 days ago. I was like, what are you up to? How's it going? He's got at this house. He's living with this girl. And he's like, all I want, and I hope he doesn't hear this, and I feel really bad for saying it, but I did tell him to his face, so, oh man, it would be so exciting to have 200K a year. And I'm like, 200K a year, again, you have to understand, this is the hypothetical. This guy's living in a hypothetical world that we're discussing, that in the future, maybe it would be exciting to have 200K. And I'm like, bro, if we're talking shit in our heads, let's just talk crazy stuff, and let's say 200K a month. And really, there is a bit of reality here. 200K a year, 20K, taxes take 100. That's a year. 100 of that, you're left with 100. Well, your mortgage is like 30, so now you're left with 5K a month extra. Wait, no, it's not, is it? No, but it's above and beyond what he's already earning. I just don't think it's that much. Okay? I really don't think it's that much. And he shouldn't either. But yeah, as people get older, they definitely set their sights. I mean, look, ultimately everybody's setting their sights on something. Just because they're setting their sights something smaller than yours, well, there's somebody that's setting their sights something bigger than yours. It's what works with your life, right? So for him, maybe that's all he wants and all he needs to be happy. You know, that's his thing. And more might actually create problems. Like, for me, I'm the type of guy this is going to sound really bad. I'm okay with not having that many friends. So for me, becoming mega millionaire and I have to drop a bunch of people out of my life, just like, honestly, not that big of a deal. Like, that makes me think, you might think, oh, he's a dick. Like, he doesn't really care about his friends and family. And it's like, no, I really do care about my friends and family. And that's kind of the reason why I'm okay with losing them, because I have so many friends and family that I love, and I'm just like, and I am okay within myself. Like, I'm just sitting here in a car by myself on a Friday night at 8:30 p.m. talking to a object, and I'm just completely fine. I love to hear my own voice. So for me, 200K a month would only produce good things. For someone like him, I can't imagine, it might not. He might have fake relationships. I'm very used to having fake relationships. I don't really care. I've already went through the whole gambling phase of my life. I've already done all that. So I kind of know how to deal with a few of those things. So for him, it'd be very tough. And there is an ontological bit of this too, where I think truly you do kind of get what you deserve ontologically. Doesn't really make sense, right? Like, you never see would you see a one-legged man beat two-legged men in a 100-meter race? No, it just doesn't make sense. The shape just doesn't fit. And, you could take that to the next level, too, and say, like, yeah, like, there is a attraction going on in this world. I wouldn't even call it an attraction. I would just call it an ontological truth, that certain things happen because the shapes kind of align, which I'm starting to see, especially in my coding. Bye, Felicia. I think this was a good chat. Yeah, don't take things in isolation. Just try to see the whole picture, right? And you can play that with anything, really. It's like, oh, I got a raise. Oh, shit. In isolation, see, this is the perfect one. Okay, you get a raise. In isolation, it's a good thing. Like, I remember I was in my office one day, and my office mate, Davina, she was this really lovely Persian girl. She really was. She was great. We were friends. It was awesome. My boss put us together, and he's like, "Oh, I think you'll like her. She's really nice." He was the best boss ever. Yeah, so she comes into the office. Oh, man, I'm such a dick. And she said, "Shine, I got a raise. I got a promotion." And I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, oh no. Like, the first thing I think is, oh shit, here we go. Something bad's gonna happen. And she's like, "What do you mean I got a raise? This is great." I'm like, they're probably gonna give you more responsibilities. You probably have to do more shit. How much do they give you? It's like maybe 5%. Well, how much do you have to do now? Probably 20% more. It's not worth it. So yeah, that wasn't a raise. That was a reduction. So don't take things in isolation.